Thank you for that. ल अब मैले फेरि एकचोटि तपाईहरुलाई भने हामी हाम्रो यो वर्किङ सेसनलाई सुरु गर्छौं र तपाईहरुलाई अलिअलि सिटिङ्स त भइहाल्यो अरु सबै प्रोसिडिङ्सहरु म फेसिलिटेटर ज्यूलाई यो ह्यान्डओभर गरिसकेपछि बीचमा हाम्रो गेस्ट आउनु भएपछि तपाईहरुसँग एकछिन 5-7 मिनेट सापटी लिएर अनि वी विल जस्ट अकम्प्लिश दैट इम्पोर्टेन्ट फर्मालिटी एन्ड देन गेट ब्याक टु द सेसन. अलराइट? ओके? Again, you're not making me happy. All right, okay, thank you. Said that, my pleasure to hand over the floor to Mr. Rupesh Shrestha.
Right. Thank you, Simani ji. Right. Right. I can see that there's 6 group. Raja. It's fine. Okay. We should have some spectators, audience also, right? So we have a very good audience at the back, right? And 6 group with already packed. Unfortunately, fortunately, sorry, because we are not able to expand the group because of the time constraints. And thank you, of course, we need to have some good people at the back to show around and go around to help them around. But definitely, you can be a part of this group, dynamic group, all the 6 dynamic group. Big round of applause for all of you yourself. Fantastic. Right, so your leaders are ready and your group? Okay. So let me come to you, right? Rather, you coming here. And we have also the topic, 6 different topics given here. Let me highlight on the topic that we have chosen for today. And you will be choosing the topic. We don't know who is going to get what topic today. But the topics are given like this. There are topics related to the very relevant and HR issues on trends of HR and L&D's issues, right? Ongoing in our very own context as well as the global context, right? So, number 1 topic would be the virtual workplaces are a reality and they are here to stay for long and in future. So the virtual workplaces have their own advantages. However, in order to derive maximum benefits and overcome the challenges associated with virtual workplaces, organizations have to prepare themselves. In order to keep up with the virtual workplace trend, organizations have to revisit their recruitment, performance management systems, communication channels, information access capabilities, and training system to cope up with the new reality. Have a discussions and suggest how organizations prepare for the trend of virtual workplaces. This is number 1. Number 2 would be Generation Z, born between mid-1990s to early 2010s, will soon be the largest workforce and will replace the millennials. Their perspective about life, success, career, and workplace is unique and completely different than the millennials, as we also came to know from our keynote speaker this morning. Are the workplaces prepared to attract and retain the Gen Z? What can the organization do to be attractive for the Generation Z? Number 3, progressive companies are increasingly realizing the value of collaborations and looking for ways to foster it within their teams, both traditionally and virtually. In the era of virtual workplaces, network, technology, and increased complexities, collaboration is the key to success. How do organizations build sustained collaboration and the role of HR in the building of sustain collaboration in the organizations. Few to go, but very short this time. Number 4, the topic would be the creating a workplace culture that encourages learning and development. Favorite of mine when it comes to learning and development, because I represent L&D Director for Marriott Hotels. Let me stop here and come back to you, L&D. Question to you all. Are you all learning? Only the 5% of the crowd. Are you all learning? That is why you guys are developing. The question is another. Are you developing every day? Yes or no? That means no one is stopping you from learning. And that's what learning and development is all about. Right? And the another question comes here. Are you a leader? No doubt, right? Are you a leader? So there is a saying. So if you are a leader, you should always learn, Vancha. You should always be learning. And if you are always learning, no one can stop you from making you or being you a leader. Okay? So learning and leadership always goes together hand in hand. The people, the person, we as a person, when you are on top or at the top level, the people people should be more aware of learning, should be more updated. And that is what the expectation at the down, right? So the more learning has to be not at the down or a bottom, it in fact has to lead from the top. That's what the L&D is all about. Number 5, strategic positioning of HR in the new world of work. Again, the word strategic, we heard from the keynote speaker again. Whether that strategy comes into fit into the world of today's HR. And finally, putting people first. Again, we heard from the keynote, all the words that we have selected today, fortunately, coincidentally, meet with the keynote speeches. Right? So the putting people first should be the HR mantra and its core values. This is the 6th topic for the sessions. Right? So with that, I'm coming to you one by one so that you can choose. Your leaders can introduce yourself, your team name, and you can take the copy of this topic. So are you all set? Okay, good. Let me come back to you. Okay, right. Let me come back to you. So you can introduce yourself. We have a big round of applause for a group here. Please introduce yourself, your team, and then you can choose.
Hello. 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 I'm Mr. Rajkumar Saha, representing the team Dynamite. And we are the first team to name ourselves. And with the team's support, I'm going to choose the topic for the date. And thank you for providing us the first opportunity to choose the topic. Let's hope I'm getting some interesting topic for the team. Okay. Our topic goes here. Creating a workplace culture that encourages learning and development.
Wow, my favorite. A big round of applause for the team. Dynamite, sorry. Oh, you are Dynamite. Thank you, all the best, and you can have your brainstorming within your team and colleagues. Thank you. Next group, team leader. Okay, sorry. Oh, let me go. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Myself, Vijay Kumar Baidya. Our team has selected out the name is Annapurna. Annapurna. fulfill. We are fulfilling the intellectual ideas, brain. That's our responsibility, okay? Thank you. Let me choose where I am.
Here we go, sir.
Virtual workplaces are the reality and they are here to stay in the future. Right?
Right. So the virtual workplace. So big round of applause for the team Annapurna. Okay, team 3. Okay, he's the leader.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Akanksha. I have been provided with the responsibility to represent my team, and we've decided on a very light name, and we will be calling ourselves Happy Birds for this exercise. Thank you.
Sorry, by the way, what's the team name?
Happy Birds.
Happy Birds. Okay, good. Oh, okay. Good.
Okay, so the topic for discussion today for our team is how do organizations build sustainable collaboration and the role of HR in building sustained collaboration in organizations.
Wow, thank you. A big round of applause for a team Happy Birds. So you'd like to say something? Right, so team 4, we have a captain, team leader here already.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are all awake after the lunch. So
Yes, very much.
I'm Shruti and I'm representing Team Synergy. We are already energized and we want to bring our synergy out. And the topic that we get the strategic positioning of HR in the new world of work.
Wow, great. Thank you. A big round of applause once again for the team Synergy. Right, so group 4, team leader, Pramodji is here. Always Pramodji. Sorry. This is not a group actually. Actually,
Are you kidding me?
the group belongs to the third table, different table. Sorry, Pramodji. But Pramodji can be a leader of this group. No issue. See, yes, it's there. They have agreed already. They have agreed. See, the clap is there. No. Are you sure? Pramodji, you have a lot of fan here. Come on. Pramodji, it's a big demand. No. It's there. Okay, it is you only this time. It's a big demand here. But it will be here, no issue. Are you all okay? Okay. Oh my God. So you introduce yourself, please.
Myself
Once
is
again.
Pramod Thakur, and I'm representing Hyatt Place, the upcoming hotel's 5-star property. It's in Solti Mode. And well, our topic is putting people first, which is we all know this is the motto of every organization these days. You know, customer is always next and people is always first. So it's a good topic. Let's see how we're gonna work. Thank you.
Okay, name is here, huh? Name is here. The leader is here, but the name is this side, okay?
See, we are already collaborating together. Now, I am Vandana Sharma. The name of the group is Everest 8848.86, and the motto is always at the apex.
Whoa! Big round of applause for a team 8848.86, right? Yes, sir.
Anything else? Still, I need to say anything? I think we have to work on this.
Please go ahead. Thank you. And finally, we have come to the sixth group.
Hello. Hello everybody, I am Priyanka Pant. I am representing my team Enigma, and our topic for today is Generation Z will soon be the largest workforce and will replace the millennials. Thank you.
Wow, great. So, a big round of applause for the sixth group, Team Enigma, right? Okay, great. So we are all set for the stage you will have almost an hour for the brainstorming session on the topic given to you. Rest, please. Those who are not in a part of a group can be a facilitator as well. You can help them. If you have doubt in any topic given to you, we have our experts, we have mentors, we have commentators already here, right? Including me. If you need any assistant help on the topic to clarify more on the topic given, please feel free. We have our experts here already. So you have to discuss in the group, brainstorm, take your time, come with the best ideas, share each other, have your energy multiplied to get the synergy. We have the synergy team already here as well. So please get the best out of you and then make sure that you have a presentation to be done at the end finally. It seems like you guys have come from a different planet. Okay, but what we have decided, the best thing for you, you have a free to brainstorm on all the topic that you have. I'm sure you have the best brains here, right? So please, Tabar, feel free to have discussion on the topic given to all the groups. I'm sure the best things are here to come again from the best minds here. Right, sir, madam, please, I'm like the chutte rakdi or no one no best group yeah, yeah, the best minds yeah, the best mind needs some best time also, you know. Right. Think so, sir? Sorry, I'll resare no is the live like if you need any topic change, please one no. Ma'am, can someone assist me? There is a paper of the topic given there. The paper ल्याइदिनु भयो हुन्छ उहाँहरुलाई सजिलो हुन्छ ग्रुपमा हजुर पछाडीको हैन अगाडि मात्र हजुर थ्यांक यू क्वेशन यहाँ छ त्यो ल्याउँदै हुन्छ फोटो खिच्नु भए पनि हुन्छ यहाँको लिडर दियो सर हुन्छ कस्तो हजुर फोटो खिच्दै सर यो हजुर टपिक सर त्यही भने अहिले झन् आनन्द अब हामी पन्छिसकेका छौँ कसरी काट्दैन यो ग्रुपबाट बनाउन सकिन्छ हाम्रो ग्रुप छ ठिक छ मैले एउटा बनाइदिउँ भनेको अब टाइम छैन होइन नि हेर्नुहोस् त म यहाँ छु कस्तो खतरा हुन्थ्यो होला अफकोर्स हामीले त बनाइसकेको होइन हामी त ग्रुप बनाएर बस्यो भन्दा तपाईँहरूको गद्दारी हो नि Right, a quick notice, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to disturb you once again. We have already a guest for the book launching. So, apology for the disturbance in between. So, we will stop for a few minutes. We will go for a book launching, and then we come back for the sessions again. So, over to you, Sivani ma'am. We have series of program to go away. We have already, for the next session, the panel discussions teams are already here. So without much wasting our time, may I request all the participants, ladies and gentlemen, to be inside the hall quickly. And get ready with your respective team. Respective team leaders, are you there? Yes. Right, so good thing is that we don't have to, the team leader does not have to come at the center stage. You can present it from your respective group. Okay? So that makes you more comfortable, more easy, More confident? Yes? Yes. Team, happy bird? Ready? All set? Good. Good to go. Leader still on the way. Team Synergy? All set? All set? Team pick 8848. Where is the leader? I'm confused. There are so many leaders here in this group. Both the leaders will speak. Any changes? Team Enigma, right? So we have Arjuj speaking on behalf. And also finally we have a surprise secret group. The backbencher group. Surprise for all of you. We have Binodji on the way later on. Get ready. Okay, so I've already given you the good news is that presenter will present from your respective team wherever you are. So all set? Make some noise, come on! Yes, that's like HR spirit. So, without much delay now, I would like to lend a mic to the team Dynamite, Rajkumarji, for his presentation. And before that, may I request our distinguished commentator, our expert and mentor, to be on the dais, please, to be on the stage, so that the team leader can present from the same place, yes? So that you can face towards the commentator. And after you finish, please make it your presentations limit within 3 minutes. It's possible.
Okay, if possible. Thank you so much.
Not maximum, not more than 5 minutes. Okay? So after the after the presentation, the commentator will comment. In fact, it's more than a comment, it's more about throwing a lights on what you have discussed. So all set? With due respect and permission from the commentator, it's all yours. Big round of applause for Team Dynamite. Sound please, Mike.
Hello. Yeah, thank you.
Mike, please, Mike. Utako. Switch off. Switch off. Okay, now, okay.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Mr. Rupesh. And with due respect and request for permission to start the presentation. We are from Team Dynamite. We are all together 21 members in our team. And we got the topic, creating a workplace culture that encourages learning and development. Now, before talking about workplace culture, I would like to put some light on our history of HR culture. So, our history starts from administration department in Nepal, which transformed into people management department, and now slowly we are growing into core HR management, which is in nascent phase in Nepal. So we are still in the growing phase. Now, today the Generation Z are jumping into the workforce of Nepal, who are modern and who are expecting the modern work culture. Before that, before the modern workforce joined us, the work culture was quite traditional, cultural, which was influenced by our culture and maybe some British culture as well, where workforce must come into the office from 9 to 5. They have to sit into the cabin, they have to perform their job, and they have to do all kinds of works from their cabin only, where the hierarchy was there, rules and regulations were there. Those were the binding factor that determined the performance of the employees. They were bound by the rules, regulation, reporting system, the structure, which were the hindrances in the performance. Those were the limiting factor in our productivity. Those were not encouraging for the further learning and development. So today, for the further productive environment, learning and development is necessary. Today environment is volatile, uncertain. So without learning and development, in this environment, the organization will not be surviving due to the volatility. For example, COVID. When COVID just started, it was uncertain how the organization will survive. But learning and development is key for everything. Learning and development help us to understand how to survive, how to adapt in the volatile environment, how to improvise ourselves, and how to thrive in this improvised environment. So learning and development is essential. But for the learning and development, workplace culture plays a key role. And workplace culture must be revised according to the need of the present situation, where Generation Z are jumping into the workforce. And Generation Z and the existing workforce, they have to work together. And for that, the working culture should be open, flexible. They are inspired by Google, Microsoft, who are changing their workplace culture dynamically. Every 6 months, every 1 year, the workplace culture has been improving. But in Nepal, slowly, the COVID taught us that work can be done from home as well. Online working or work from home is possible. And even the organizational goal can be achieved from working from home as well. So here, our team has listed out some points that I would like to mention. First of all, the organizational structure, the rules should be flexible. Flexible means office hour 9 to 10 or office attendance system should be diverted to productive system where the outcome is measured instead of their daily presence or activities. Here, the HR management, HR, human resource must be allowed to take part in top decision making where they can derive the policy which are flexible and human-centric, which focuses on productive environment rather than the bonding environment where rules are stricter and they are hindering the learning and development environment. Second point I would like to mention is the learning and development culture should be included in the core value of the organization, and it should be included in the job description only. Job description stage, so that employee from the day one when he or she is joining that organization, learning and development is essential and it is the part of our job, so that they will be able to innovate, they will be able to inspire themselves as well. So, and similarly, the workstation, the space, the physical environment should be shifted according to the change in the working force. The youth, the Generation Z, they like to work in the environment which is more flexible in terms of space, like cabin space should be transformed into open space where people are being able to see each other, the transparency is there, and they are able to collaborate, or they can function, they will be able to perform the cross-platform cooperation. They will be able to collaborate with each other. There is a possibility of peer learning. So these are the things that Generation Z focuses on. And other thing, the human-centric decisions should be made. If Generation Z does not feel right that this is not a human-centric or this is not sustainable to the environment, those policies should also be shifted or changed, so that the workplace becomes a place that motivates that I am working or serving the organization which focuses on the human values.
Final words, please.
And finally, I would like to point out some points. Today, youth are jack of all, a master of one. So this is the philosophy today that is more prevalent. A workforce must be master of one and jack of all, because we have to perform the activities from different departments. We have to have we have to be able to perform a cross-platform cooperation. So learning and development is essential, and for learning and development, workplace culture is the indispensable part of any organization. Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Dynamite. They're creating a workplace culture that encourages learning and development. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Team Dynamite. I think it was a wonderful presentation. Very short period of time, and you just was able to enlist very critical issues. And I really love the way you put the importance of organizational culture. We believe that when we talk about learning and development, the importance of learning and development in today's world, I don't think so we need to question this, because it's something like asking to an athlete, what can training do to you? I mean, this is a very, very important and an integral component of HR today. And those HR practitioners that we see around today, all these budding HR practitioners, you'll be taking up the responsibility very soon. You will be looked upon. One of the important roles that will be looked upon probably would be that you will be taken as a very important component facilitating what we call as human capital developer. And learning and development is something that the HR will definitely have to do very strong on. So the commitment of the top management, you are absolutely correct, you're bang on there, is very, very critical in making the HR or the learning and the development successful in the organization. But just to add to it, it is not just about the infrastructure, it's not just about what you call as arrangements that will lead to a progressive learning and development initiatives. We all know this. Everyone knows what is it to invest in people. Everyone knows what is the importance and what can organization achieve by investing on people. But then having said that, there is always a reluctance, some sort of hesitation in terms of having a very, very strong investment in human capital. And what is the reason for that? And I think to change this, right, and to really bring things into table, the HR will have an extremely prolific role there. And you can really brand yourself with a very, very revised reputation of yours. Very, very strong HR capacity builders. I think just learning and development, few things which I completely appreciate with the group is that you said learning has to be a strategic initiative. Absolutely. Otherwise, it's very difficult, I'm telling you. You cannot push people to learn. No way. So there has to be some formal institutionalized process that's going to facilitate learning and development. And an important thing to be noted here would probably be is that when you are taking a learning and development initiative, there has to be some metrics by which you evaluate the effectiveness of such interventions. Right? You have to be able to reward those people and recognize their efforts. If they are learning a new ability, if they are learning a new skills, that has to be recognized, that has to be rewarded, so that they can inspire others to follow the suit. So it's very important in that sense that you create a conducive culture where progressive learning and development is happening. Lots of things can be done here. Do you have any formal platforms where learning is really facilitated? It could be small information sharing platforms. It could be a platform where you can simply go for a joint exploration, practicing or sharing your best practices. That has to be facilitated. So it requires a tremendous level of investment, a very clear orientation, what learning can do to you, and not to forget, your role is very, very critical. HRM or the human resource management, what a challenging task you have. You are in a process of making every individual in the organization a core researcher. It's not an easy job. So they are very right when they brought these 2 points. One, I completely agree. Learning has to be a strategic initiative. Number two, organizational learning culture has to be the core value. That I completely buy, if anything.
Thank you. Let me congratulate Team Dynamite for a wonderful presentation. And your presentation was as explosive as your name is. Yeah. So a couple of points. I think most of the things have been, pertinent things have been pointed out by Madan. But one point which I agree with you is that there has to be a top-level commitment, and learning and development actually has to be seamlessly embedded into the strategy of the organization, and which also requires solid top-level commitment. And that's, I agree with you. And then as you were talking about the culture and the role of the core values of the organization is very important in shaping the overall organizational culture. So one thing which we have to evaluate is like which are the elements of organizational culture which are actually hindrances to developing a culture of learning and development in the organization, and those elements through a commitment of the top level management, the elements which are actually hindrances, the overall which are hindrances in the learning and development, they have to be actually looked into, and value system and philosophies of the organization has to be in line, which actually promote a learning culture in the organization. I mean, every member of the organization should understand that we are all lifelong learners, and learning and development continues, and we are learning every day. So the role of core values is very important, and of course there has to be alignment of the organization strategies and systems actually, which actually promotes learning and development in the organization. So the systems in the organization, I mean, if the organization does not develop proper information systems which doesn't facilitate learning, then there's no point in actually talking about a learning organization or talking about organization learning. So there has to be there has to be an alignment or proper support when we are talking about the values, starting from the top, and then we are looking at the core in the organization, like the alignment of the strategy and the systems, and also proper structures in the organization which actually support a continuous learning process and development in the organization. So I think that would be all my observations. So thank you, and and your role, of course, as Madan said, that it's very important in actually getting this the role of learning and development in today's organizations, and HR plays a very, very important role in developing that culture of learning in an organization. So my best wishes, and I'm very confident that with this, I was told that there are about 250 young, promising, talented HR professionals in this room, and with so much of interest in HR issues and learning and development, and also looking at HR as a strategic function in the organization, we have really come a long way, because I have been involved in management education for the last 2 decades of my life, and I definitely see, when I go to such forums, I definitely see that we have come a really, really long way from looking at, there was a time when HR was not even perceived as a proper organizational function in organizations. We would have a difficult time to actually get HR professionals to come and actually offer a course in the business school. From the time now, I see this whole, group of, a large group of talented professionals. So we definitely have better days ahead, and my best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause for our commentators. It was definitely insightful comments from our great commentators and mentors, right? And definitely a thing to take away as a learning and development as a part of our strategic decisions, right? So the next team Annapurna is ready, right? And their topic is virtual workplaces are a reality, and they are here to stay in the future. All we go, sir. It's up to you.
Thank you very much.
Keeping in mind, sorry, with the time constraints, let's be to the point quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to the point. Before going to the point, I just wanted to prepare some prerequisites for these activities, because normally HR, if somebody says HR, oh, if any problem, go HR. If anything, go. But that is the thing. But HR guy is techno-commercial people, because it has to get knowledge of technology. it has to get knowledge of safety, it has to knowledge of your commerce, because production, productivity, and sustainability, and safety and compliance all are interrelated with the HR. What I feel. That's why HR is the leader. All alphabet indicates every meaning. LEADER. Learning, listening, educating, advocating, dedicating, review, empowering, and that what I feel. And another part, I just wanted to add that HR people must have this, spiritual, emotional, and physical. There is one thing that अध्यात्म बालले नडोराएको भौतिकवाद मौते बिनाको हात्ती हुन्छ. In a same way, this is also applicable in HR also. Now I want to switch over to this visual workplace. I just would like to categorize this visual workplace in the two sides. One manufacturing and one is the service. Why I segregated? Both manufacturing and service sector, it is little bit different. Because the service sector, all the people are highly educated, highly trained. Without their highly education training, it is a service sector could not attend. Whereas in the manufacturing sector, it highly education not attend. For example, our level of education level, if we say the things, it is very low. All the low education group switch over to the manufacturing, no? Even though due to globalization, for the sustainability, we are compelled to the globalization. For the globalization, for the sustainability of our product and services, being a nationality, it is not necessary that you let us purchase from the Nepal, let us purchase from because it is customer focused product. Unless and until customer do not accept it, it will favor. I just wanted to give one example. There was 67 textile industry in the Nepal. How it was collapsed? It is purely customer change focus and government think also. Now, I would like to proceed. What are the problems? What are the opportunity for the visual workplace? I just wanted to go through the short analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. The strength is that once we introduce this technology visualization, our manpower head count will be little bit come down, and it is very easily to switch over the as per consumer requirement, all these things, everything and all these things. That we sustain in the market. For example, all the multinational MNC, they are controlling from the outside all the things. How they are sustaining? If they are sustaining, why we are not doing that? For example, during this COVID period, I just wanted to reiterate one thing: crisis creates creativity. If someone dissolve in the crisis, then he is finished. They have to create creativity. I just wanted to remind one thing. Last time, three gentlemen's interview, Dr. Mahabir Pon said that if I would not have born in the remote area, today I was not displaced. Because of that crisis, this creativity creates an oval thing, no? Even though this visual workplace has some sort of problems, because level of technology is expensive, as well as the technology which derives from our electricity as Wi-Fi and all these things, there is so much flexibility. There is more constraint is not over there. Because of that reason also, it may directly impact our machine productivity and ultimately human psychology. If there is a machine stoppage or something else, naturally people will want to get relaxed. Oh, let us see, now the machine is off. Because of that scenario, it may derive. For that is the major challenge, how to come up with this problem. The reason is that for that, continue communication, continue interaction, for which training. Once you communicate one-way communication never work. Communicate, consultate, cooperate, then only you will achieve. Or you will get feedback. Whatever you have trained to the people, it is not necessary. Whatever you have trained, easily they will catch up. It is not necessary. Up to what extent they have captured. That should be categorized, that should be measured by their practical things. Okay, this you're learning. Okay, what is the problem and all this. You can get feedback from your employee, safety, quality, productivity, because they are the main initiator who teach you. Shop floor, they are the main trainer. Whatever happen in the shop floor, they will train you. And last time, ultimately, it comes from the human resource. You can change technology, but human being you cannot change. There is one proverb. There is no specific tool to maintain industry relation, because human being has got their own expectation, economic, psychological impact on all these things. That's how even it is impact to our sustainability.
Final words, sir.
Analytics. Now is the time is over.
Final words.
Okay.
Wrapping words.
Graphic words. Now the virtual things, which gives very visuality, where here every people will be alert, every people will think the what value addition I will give from that. And lastly, what I feel, sometimes there may be debate, sense of belongingness is the first or sense of responsibility is the first. There may be debate always. But I say the sense of belongingness already creates sense of responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Right. Right, as communicated, we are aligning with the theme of the session of the MIT is that create agile environment, and we are creating agile environment with lot of changes in between. So we are going, before we go to the commentator, we have decided to go presentation first, wrap up, and finally from the commentator. Is that okay, sir, with due respect? Right, so are you ready? Team Happy Birds. Right, so please also tell your topic and quickly to the point before I stop you. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Excuse me, how much time do I have? Sorry?
Less than 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'll try to wrap it up by then.
Yes,
Namaskar
thank you.
सबैलाई मैले अघि मेरो introduction दिइसकेँ. My name is Akanksha Puri. Currently, I am managing the HR function for Appensoft Group of Companies, and I'm representing my team, Happy Birds, for this content. So, हाम्रो क्वेसन के थियो भने अर्गनाइजेसन्सहरूले सस्टेनेबल कोलाबोरेसन क्रिएट गर्नको लागि के गर्न सक्छ र त्यो क्रिएसनमा चाहिँ एचआरको स्ट्रेटेजिक रोल के हुन सक्छ भन्ने क्वेसन थियो. आइएम गोइङ टु टेक नेपाली एज अ कम्फर्टेबल ल्याङ्ग्वेज हियर. So before I move on to the actual context of the question, two things that we all agree is COVID-19 ले गर्दाखेरि यो कम्प्लेक्सिटिजहरूको एक्सिलरेटेड लर्निङको लागि चाहिँ हामी फोर्स भएको थियौँ र यसले गर्दाखेरि अर्गनाइजेसन्स र एम्प्लोइजहरू इभन द ह्युमन रिसोर्स सबैको चाहिँ स्किलिङ र रिस्किलिङको चाहिँ ठुलो रिक्वायरमेन्ट आएको थियो होइन. नट एभ्री वान वाज प्रिपेयर्ड फर इट. सो यसले चाहिँ टु थिङ्स के क्लियर गरेको छ भने पिपलमा पनि अजिलिटी चाहिएको थियो र अर्गनाइजेसन्सहरूमा पनि अजिलिटी चाहिएको थियो. सो बोथ दि पिपल एज वेल एज द अर्गनाइजेसन वेयर लर्निङ इन प्यारलल. सो अब सस्टेन कोलाबोरेसनको कुरा चाहिँ किन आयो भने इट हेज बिकम अ रियालिटी गिभन द कन्टेक्स्ट अफ कोभिड इट सेल्फ. सो यो क्वेसनलाई चाहिँ टु हाफ्समा डिभाइड गर्दाखेरि फर्स्ट एचआरको स्ट्रेटेजिक रोल के हुनसक्छ भन्दाखेरि कोलाबोरेसनको स्ट्रेटेजिक थ्रस्ट के हो अर्गनाइजेसनमा. अर्गनाइजेसनले पहिला त्यो बुझ्नु पऱ्यो र त्यो चिज टप डाउन म्यानेजमेन्टबाट क्यास्केड भएर इन्डोर्स भएर एचआरसम्म आउनु पऱ्यो. वाट एचआर डज एज अ स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनर इज it can act as a change management agent where it helps the cascading and trickle down effect of all the impact of collaboration in through all layers of organization. So त्यो थाहा पाउनको लागि चाहिँ फर्स्टमा त के गर्नु पर्यो भने अर्गनाइजेसनको रेडिनेस छ कि छैन कोलाबोरेसनको लागि वी हेभ टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट फर्स्ट. कोलाबोरेसन चाहियो भनिरहेछौँ बट इफ आवर सिस्टम्स प्रोसेसेस इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स इभन द पिपल इट सेल्फ इफ दे आर नट रेडी for the collaboration, it will not work. So first, the 3 level organization diagnostic models could be a good tool to understand what are the key points where long-term strategic interventions will be required to embed collaboration within the culture of the organization itself. So we'll begin from there. अब त्यसपछि strategic role अर्को के हुन सक्छ भने change management सँगसँगै पिपलले कोलाबोरेसन गर्ने भनेको अरूले भनेर गर्ने होइन. इट हेज टु कम फ्रम देम विदिन. सेल्फ मोटिभेटेड सेल्फ म्यानेज टिम्सहरूले मात्र हाई प्रोडक्टिभिटिज र कोलाबोरेसन जस्तो जुन यो कम्प्लेक्स एस्पेक्ट्सहरू छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ अडप्ट गर्ने गर्छन्. सो त्यो निकाल्नको लागि हामीले rather than telling them to collaborate, we have to give them purpose in the job itself so that they know आफूले गरिरहेको कामले के impact के create गर्छ भनेर. When they have a clear understanding of the impact they are creating within the organization as well as outside the organization, they are more open to collaborating with anyone किनभने उनीहरूले larger vision देखिरहेको हुन्छ हैन. The work itself is larger than themselves. So अर्को भनेको in cases like remote working, हाम्रो क्वेसनमा नेटवर्किङको कुरा पनि थियो. Remote working गर्दाखेरि people in the team do not realize the working context of the other person within their own team. So त्यसको लागि their collaboration itself has to come with an emotional aspect. So त्यसको लागि पनि हामीले चाहिँ HR ले ट्रेनहरु गर्नको लागि चाहिँ हेल्प गर्न सकिन्छ. अर्को भनेको कोल्याबोरेसनको लागि हामीले चाहिँ फोर्सफुल्ली अब इन्भाइट गर्न खोजिरा छौं, बट हाम्रो जब रोल्सहरु कोल्याबोरेसनको लागि भनेर बनेको किसिमको छ कि छैन. So we might also have to look into the areas where HR can facilitate redesigning of job roles itself. सानो example दिनु पर्दाखेरि, we work with a lot of developers and they have a certain database that cannot be provided for everyone. Access दिन मिल्दैन. While we are talking about virtual workplaces and collaboration, do we have systems and technology in place that supports that kind of flexibility in their work? र कोल्याबोरेसनको लागि हेल्प गर्छ कि गर्दैन त्यो चाहिँ हामीले हेर्नु पर्ने हुन्छ.
वार्निङ बेल.
So अर्को भनेको कोल्याबोरेसनको लागि we may have to revisit our business processes and workflow processes itself. And then also sustainable approach लिएर आउनको लागि one person is never enough to create that kind of ripple effect which will be sustained for over a long period of time. So there has to be a creation of a different layer of management in the middle level management itself that will actually help you cascade the overall collaboration aspect into the organization. So mid level managers हरुको पनि एउटा preparedness चाहिँ create गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ. अर्को भनेको it has to come from the top management itself, like I said before. Culture मा नै collaboration भनेको it is the thing that we celebrate within the organization भनेर top down बाट आउनु पर्यो. And for all these HR should play a strategic role. So based on the requirement of organization, what are the key generic things that we can do to create collaboration भन्ने कुराको लागि चाहिँ first मा technology integrations हरु हुनु पर्यो. Virtual spaces हरुलाई चाहिँ support गर्ने तरिकाले we may have to revisit our performance management system where largely we are recognizing the individual contributors हैन. अहिले गएर चाहिँ collaboration मा focus गर्ने हो भने team involvements हरुदेखि लिएर team achievements हरुलाई हामीले कसरी recognize गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर we may have to revisit our overall performance management system itself. अर्को भनेको bottom up communication हुनु पर्यो. While we are cascading the concept of collaboration from upward, तलबाट माथि what are the impacts and hurdles of collaboration within the organization भनेर चाहिँ bottoms up communication पनि हुनु पर्यो.
Thank you so much. Well diagnosis of your topic given to you. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the team Happy Birds. Now we have the synergy team to create a synergy on the topic. It's all yours, madam. Can you have a big round of applause for the synergy?
Good afternoon once again. I'm Shruti and I'm representing Team Synergy. First of all, thank you very much for my team members for their very nice effort in coming up with very interesting ideas on the strategic position of HR in the new world of work. Well, what comes to your mind when you think of HR positioning? Well, let me give our perspective. You know, when we used to be in the universities and we were taught in HR and we had to visit HR organizations, then usually HR unit used to be the secluded unit, you know, एकदम त्यो अर्गनाइजेसनको पुरानो भरिङ मुनिको सानो अँध्यारो कोठामा छुट्टै, and their positioning in the building itself was so secluded हैन. उनीहरु त्यो decision making मा त कहिले इन्भल्भै थिएन. त्यो हाम्रो एउटा ट्रेडिसनल कन्सेप्ट थियो, you know. And basically nowadays as well, it is considered as a unit which is actually just support or admin function unit, okay, and just it is given a secondary priority in any organization. But why is this happening? हाम्रो basically presentation लाई चाहिँ what, why and how मा हामीले divide गरेछौं. So why is that happening? Okay, is HR unit not capable enough, or are they not able to contribute to organization goals and objectives? Well, as an HR professional, we think there are two main challenges. One, internal challenge, obviously the traditional concept thinking that they were the secluded people who are just involved in the traditional activities, the main administrative work and not involved in decision making. And another is the external challenges. That is, the world is basically considered VUCA, which we say volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And to adapt to this competitive globalization and all these kind of challenges, how can we come up with the strategies? How can HR also be strategically positioned in an organization? Well, for that, there are three important pillars, as it has been discussing in this forum since morning. We need to consider the agility, the flexibility, and the culture of collaboration. And that can be done by involvement of HR from the initial strategic planning phase itself, from planning the mission of organization, vision of organization, vision of any plans or projects that are being discussed. If HR professionals are involved, then they can come up with those strategies. For example, if an organization has a plan of, let's say, inclusion of people of Hindu Kush Himalayan region, then the HR strategies can be in such a way that the people of those are given special consideration, inclusions while hiring process. And it's not just about hiring, it's even about sustaining employees. I'm very much impressed with the recent ideas that has come up with the competences matching and skills development. Because we usually have very skilled professionals, we hire very competitive people in the organization, but we just keep on hiring new individuals and forget that those people have skills and competences which can be matched with organization goals and objectives, and they can be aligned to different responsibilities as well. We miss those objectives. So if HR is involved in that way, they can also be involved in plans and processes, and ultimately the hiring strategies, the employee retaining strategies, and developing well-being of employees, those plans, progress, and all the organization objectives. It can be achieved ultimately by framing their own strategies in that version. And we should not just think of ourselves in Nepali context itself. There are international practices around. A lot of global new practices have come up. For example, if I'm an organization looking on to hiring people from Myanmar, then the current situation of Myanmar is it's impossible for those people to come and work over here. So whether the organization can meet its objectives through remote working platforms or not. So such kind of strategies should be thought about. Finally, I'd like to conclude saying that to have a motivated workforce in a healthy working environment, which is able to adapt to the changing working scenarios, HR should be involved in strategic planning process, and ultimately it helps create a very synergy in the organization and helps us obtain its objectives. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The team Synergy have definitely synergized the topic and the entire hall. Right, so without further delay, coming to the pick, the team pick 8848.86. So we have two dynamic leaders in the team, right? So we have Pramodji leading the show.
Okay, hi, good afternoon everyone. Once again, this is Pramod Thakur. I represent Hyatt Place, the upcoming hotels, which is going to be another 5-star property in town. So let's start, we have another 20, 30 odd people in our team, so I won't say this is a team, this is a community, right? So, okay, great. So my topic is putting people first should be the mantras of HR. Well, I don't know how many of you gonna agree with this or not, but I believe that this statement is not complete. This is not only HR responsibilities. Each and every business leader of the organization is custodian of this mantra. Each and every, and we are talking about, taking, this is all about, when we explain this point, it is putting people first means we need to take care of, let's take in other way around. We need to take care of our employee so that they can do their best, right? This is the thing, actually. So we need to understand, from last 2 decades, we are talking, wherever we meet, or even when we make the strategy of the company, when we sit with the business leaders, right? We always talk about this thing. But are we really doing this? We all are business leader here, right? So this is the question for each of us. Are we really doing this or not? We are talking. Because let's take the example, the corona has exposed this reality. Especially in my industry, in tourism and hotel industries, lot of hotels, across the world. I'm not saying only in Nepal, but across the world, they dismantle the organization, right? Have they ever thought about the people, right? Have they, any of us, since we are working in the different sector, right? And I know that we are badly hit due to the corona, right? But do we have that kind of a strategy from the very beginning, that if such kind of things will happen, it's not about the corona, maybe natural calamities, or maybe another things will hit the organization, right? So are we prepared for that or not? So this is the question. We need to deep dive in that. Each and every business leader have to deep dive in that. We are talking about the people, but what is happening with the people? Saying and doing is the two different things. Maybe I'm a bit harsh, right? So now we need to develop the process, and I believe that each and every organization has already developed the process. It is our responsibility to develop this process, how to put our people first, right? So we are talking about the recognitions, right? We are talking about the trust and belief. These are always there. But now the new thing, we need to intervene because of this corona, which is called, well-being and mental health of the employee. Are we doing that? Are we connected with their family? This is very important questions we need to ask within ourselves. Because putting people first, we all talk about, putting people first. But how we gonna do that? And especially in this part of the world, right? This is happening, I have traveled across the world in the different places. I worked in the different places. I know how things gonna work, right? But especially in this part of the world, we need to work very hard in this. Because especially the companies, when we see the company, maybe I'm blunt, don't take me wrong, right? But when we see, we don't have because of the political situation or, economic situation of the country, we don't have much, big business houses in the company, which is public limited company. We talk about the diversity, the culture, right? So we don't have that kind of, what I'm trying to say that, how are we gonna do that? Maybe, I'm a bit wide. But then yes, finally I just want to say that each and every business leader have to work on this. We have to work on this. It's not only saying, we have to do it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pradhan, on highlighting that putting people first. Take care of your people, and the people will take care of your customers. That's what the whole theme is all about. We have in fact, we have one more, right, to go, the secret department. But before that, we have the team Enigma and Arju leading the way. All yours, ma'am, with the topic.
So good afternoon, everyone. So without much ado, I'll quickly just reread the question. Generation Z, born between mid-1990s to early 2010s, will soon be the largest workforce and will replace the millennials. Their perspective about life, success, career, and workplace is unique and completely different than the millennials. Are the workplaces prepared to attract and retain the Gen Z? What can the organization do to be attractive for the Gen Z? So our team would just like to start by stating why is there a need to differentiate between the different generations and Gen Z. Why? Because of the generation gap. Because of where, let's say, baby boomers or Gen Y and Gen Z come from. Initially, if you see baby boomers, for example, their main agenda or motive of working for any organization was a 9 to 5 and maybe for the bread and butter. for economic reasons. But now with, let's say, the development of the business environment and also maybe human nature as well, the requirements of Gen Z are completely different to the previous generations. So what can organizations do to be attractive for the Gen Z? To address, what can we do? We can address the needs of Gen Z. And what are the needs of Gen Z? Number one, let's say at the workplace, they need to feel empowered. So empowerment, we would say is number one. And by empowerment, I mean, like as we've been talking during the day as well, flatten the hierarchy, flatten the curve, transparency, communication. It shouldn't be like the old days where someone goes to HR or senior manager and says that, okay, this is what I would expected. But then that person is turned down and said, sorry, this is group policy. This is local policy. So there should be more transparency with what exactly is that policy in the first place. So these Gen Zs, they need to feel encouraged. They need to feel empowered. Why? Because they are risk takers. Unlike, let's say, baby boomers and Gen Y who were risk averse, Gen Z people, or let's say the category Gen Z, they are more towards entrepreneurship. They want to do something on their own. Why? Because that makes them empowered. So how do we organizations, when we need Gen Z, how do we attract them? By ensuring that they are given accountability at the jobs. Let them take the lead. If you've trusted them enough to hire them, you must trust them enough to get the job done. Number two, personal development. Another need of Gen Z is personal development. Again, this takes me back to the differences between baby boomers, Gen Y, and Gen Z. Initially, let's say, for example, my mother, who was a working mother, she wanted to go to work, come back, 9 to 5. She was happy with that. She got a paycheck at the end of the month. Fine. Her job was done. But no, these days, Gen Z, or let's say the youngsters of this generation, they expect more. So they want to climb up the career ladder. It's not that a manager, I'm happy with this. No. So, and how do organizations come about that? Is maybe by training and development. And by training and development is not just like say, this is an IT guy, so this is a new software, so let's train him in this particular software. No, train him where, say, for example, his competencies or he lacks communication skills. So pick up that person and say, okay, this is where you can improve. So let's groom you in this particular field. IT, you know enough, you are the master of IT, but let's say communication skills, let's say PR building, or maybe let's even digitalization, so on and so forth. So going over and above an organization or an individual's business and business as usual, so we train them in those categories, and that is how we can meet the need of a Gen Z. Lastly, and very quickly, flexibility. Flexibility, we don't have to speak much. For example, work from home. So with flexibility, also with, let's say, part-time, give them the flexibility. Gen Zs, they do not want to be bound by a 9-to-5 job. They need to feel motivated and encouraged early morning to go to the job and get the job done with a fresh mind. Not like, oh, 9 to 5, kaile 9 bajcha, kaile 5 bajcha, ma bhagi halchu bhanera chaina. They might want to come in at 10, but they'll stay back till 10. They'll do a 12-hour duty, but along with that, they need to feel motivated once again. How can the organization do this? Let's say is by not having rigid attendance system and maybe allowing them to do dual jobs, because a Gen Z might be interested in more than just a 9 to 5. And lastly, I would just rest my case by saying that if an HR or if the company has hired someone, has trusted someone to get them hired, then the company should also trust them to get the job done, be it at home or be it in the office space itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done. And no doubt, ma'am, I want to be in that Gen Z, what you said right now. And of course, everybody would like to be in that. Right, with that surprise group also here, representing all the good minds here. Right, so we have the backbenchers group quickly with a wrap of 2 minutes from Binodji. Surprise group, big round of applause, the backbencher group.
Thank you so much. Actually,
quickly 2 minutes, please.
We have our topics. Are the workforce prepared to attract and retain the generations? Gen Z. Okay. In that, what I would like to highlight is that generally we should make the people accountable so that they will feel their responsibility and they will try to retain. And additional to this, I would like to ask my teammates to speak few words.
Okay, finally, good. That's what the team spirit is all about.
Thank you. So, talking about the retention of Generation Z, we have talked about like 4 to 5 points. First of all, it is about the multi-skill development. So, skill development, again, connecting to the leadership and development, it is not only about the training people, but also linking to their productivity. Like grooming the people, where are we going to show their career path? I mean, what is the path where they are going to reach? So, that is the one of the point. Another is work culture development, adaptation to the work culture, flexible workplace, which is into the trend now. And another challenge is like, why do we need to retain Generation Z? That is because this is the generation which have faced the earthquake, COVID-19, and they know how to work in the emergency situation. So they know the strategic point, how to act upon the emergency situation and how to make things happen. So another is investment on technology. So technology development is the another thing which organization must invest upon. So that is possible only after developing the people and the employees. So that's one of the point. Another is like motivation part. So cash in hand, monetary benefits. So that is the one of the important aspect which motivate each and every employee, individual. So Generation Z, they are the one who are the risk taker. We all know that they are not afraid of the challenges, they are the entrepreneurs. So in order to retain them, we should also think on the career path as well as the monetary benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Big. Thank you. Mike, please. Thank you. Okay. So, without taking much time, thank you for all the participants and all the team leaders for the fantastic presentation, energetic presentations. Now it's all over to the fantastic, distinguished commentators to throw the lights on whatever is been said and wrap up the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So what we have decided is, rather than commenting on all the 4 groups and the topics, I have chosen to take 2, and Madan has chosen to take 2. So I'll briefly, to save time, I'll comment on the 2 topics. So the first one, let me congratulate the group who made a presentation about attracting and retaining Generation Z, and what can organizations actually do. This is a very interesting topic because, like, coming from my experience, when I talk to somebody who is joining an organization who actually is a late millennial or somebody who belongs to Generation Z, I think that most of the times I keep thinking that I'm still pretty young, but when I talk to this generation, I think that now I'm actually old, or rather ancient, right? So definitely, I mean, all the managers who are actually going to recruit in the days to come, because we know, I mean, looking at the global demographics, we know that Generation Z, or the people who are actually born from the mid-1990s to early 2010, they are going to be the largest part of the workforce in the days to come, and they are going to actually take over the millennials. So now the question is that what can organizations actually do to attract them, and another next question would be to retain them. And some of the characteristics actually which was very beautifully brought by the team there, that their requirements are very different, their perspectives towards life is very different, they have a very different kind of a lifestyle. And in fact, when we are looking at them, they are the first, as we call them, the first digital natives. So because they are the first digital natives, and they have grown with technology, and especially information technology, and they are actually network technology. So the idea would be that what can the organizations actually do to actually keep them engaged? Because if you do not have the state-of-the-art cutting technology, I mean, it's almost impossible to get them engaged. So their requirements are different, their perspectives very different. The team very rightly said that once upon a time, I mean, at least if you talk about the baby boomers or even Generation X, idea was that when you're working, it's a 9 to 5, and then you're actually working to earn your bread. And when you go to school, you were said that, well, why do you have to study? You have to study so that you land up in a good job. It is no more true for the Generation Z and the upcoming generations. Now the question would be that if they are not, and again, another thing is that when you go to a job, it was about being worth your salt and loyalty and other things. But we know one of the important traits of Generation Z is that they are highly rational people and they are not emotional, most of them. So the question would be that, we have to actually appeal to this very rational approach of Generation Z. Very rightly said that one of the things which can be done is that they need to be empowered. Again, very generic and very cliched term which we have been always using. But the question would be that the cliched empowerment in organization probably would not work with Generation Z, and we have to find out newer ways of empowering this new generation. And one of the ways which I feel from my experience is that you can empower them through technology, and you can keep them engaged through technology. So that is something which the HR systems and the top level management, they have to actually look into. And then, of course, I mean, flexibility in terms of flexibility. Probably we are going to arrive at a time when Generation Z and generations beyond are not looking at working with one organization. Probably they'll be working with multiple organizations. So we have to provide them with the flexibility of working through different time zones and working through different times, flexibility. Another most important thing which was mentioned by the group, which I really appreciate, is transparency. Because Generation Z is very, they are concerned about what is the organization's approach towards ethics and transparency and the values and their contribution towards the society, etc. So it will be, transparency would play a very, very important role in an organization. How transparent the organization is with the rest of the world, how transparent is the organization inside. So transparency, very, very important. Another thing we have to see is that Generation Z has a very different lifestyle than the previous generations, millennials or Generation Y, if you look at. So if you're talking about they are looking more at enjoyments, weekends, holidays, rewarding yourself and having these pleasure binges and all of these things. So organizations, actually the HR systems, they have to design such systems, which actually takes care of this very new need of Generation Z. So, these days I also hear that during our times when we started our career, probably 2 decades back, weekends were actually not a celebration, and these days now we hear weekends, then came a time when weekends were a celebration time. Now I hear that, I mean, people would want to have a, weekend in between the week, actually. So probably a Wednesday is another weekend. So this group is actually, they would like to do things which provides them with pleasure, the self-rewarding kind of pleasure. So we have to build systems, where we give them opportunities to reward themselves if they're working hard. Yes, of course, and of course money is not going to be the most important motivator for this particular group. And they are also, another thing which you mentioned very rightly is they are a very entrepreneurial, they have an entrepreneurial mindset. So organizations have to actually build systems in the organization where you promote organizational entrepreneurship, which will actually help retaining this millennials. I don't know, I have taken more time than I should have actually. The second group, which actually talked about sustainable collaboration, very nicely you brought about that, the organizational structure has to promote collaboration, very rightly said. And you also rightly said that there has to be rewards related to collaboration. I mean, your managers, your people, why would they be ready to collaborate? So there has to be some kind of a linkage between collaboration and the reward system. That was very nicely said. And a couple of things which is very important is, I mean, it has been noticed that today's organizations, we talk about the 4 C's, which is going to be very, very important in terms of critical thinking, communication, creativity, and the 4th one is collaboration. Because I mean, collaboration, whether you're talking about virtual teams or whether you're talking about teams in the real life, in the real setting, collaboration is going to play a very, very important role, and we have actually seen how important it is in the last year since the pandemic actually struck. Organizations all across the world have seen that. Now the question is, what could be some of the biggest hindrances, at least my experience, if you're talking about like collaboration, fear, biggest hindrance to collaboration. People think that probably if I collaborate, then there's a fear of losing my own domain, or somebody else would actually infringe into my domain. So why should I collaborate? And trust, and of course reward systems and communication systems in organizations. I mean, the communication system in organizations have to be conducive to collaboration. Right, and the team actually talked about culture, which is again very important. I mean, if you are actually promoting a culture of competition, then collaboration actually is not possible. But however, these days we are also talking about like co-opetition, where you actually look at competition, healthy competition along with collaboration. So, yeah. Another important thing which I wanted to mention is sometimes what happens is that as long as the organizations have star performers and celebrity managers in the organization, collaboration, they are going to be the biggest hindrances to collaboration in any organization. Most of the organizations, I mean, if you talk about, yes, they have star performers, they have celebrity managers, and sometimes, most of the times, it is seen that they are actually the biggest hindrances to collaboration. So what we have to see is that we have to identify these, my advice to the HR professionals, we have to identify whichever level they are. We have to identify these star performers or celebrity performers and people who enjoy celebrity status, and make them realize that they are the people who actually need to collaborate in the organization, so that there is a collaborative culture. Yeah, I think that would be all from my side. Sorry, I might have taken a little longer than I should have. Thank you.
I'll just add to this my observations about Gen Z audience. I find this audience to be extremely creative. These people are very, very mobile audience. These people basically would like to go for, a very quick job switch. They come up with a different orientations, and not to forget, we have to take advantage of their electronic literacy. I mean, they have grown up in this digital world. They are much more updated. They will be coming to the organization well-trained. And interestingly, if we are not prepared to really take up this group of people who has a very different set of expectations, I think we will be able to lose a cream and a very premium kind cater of talents from the organization for sure. Because these people are absolutely restless and they have options. One thing I very strongly notice about this group of people is that gone are the days, when we started, it was said, and I remember this, Kevin saying this, the money is one of the most important factor in the world, and if it doesn't work, try more money. Now, this is not going to work for this group. This group probably, or this audience, has a very different set of expectations. For them, probably, developmental opportunities, growth in the organizations, a progressive career, that makes a much more difference. So an organization simply cannot say this. I'll give you a simple example. When we started, training was offered as a facility. Today, they say it's an entitlement. They say, this is my bona fide right. If I am serving here and I'm giving my productive time here, then you also have, and this is your responsibility, that you take care of my development. I should be growing. The moment they see that the growth is stunted, it has plateaued, then that's where the degeneration starts. So the organization simply cannot say now that we don't want to invest in people because we fear they might leave the organization. What if they leave the organization? No? So that will be very difficult. So you have to, the organization and the management really have to think through. You have to completely revisit the compensation mix. And I think there are three very strong operating rules that will work wonders for this audience. If you take away the economic issues out of the table, they don't have any problem with the economic issues, let's say. Fantastically, competitively placed, fairly compensated, everything is fine. Three things will work very, very important for this group of audience. One, autonomy. Autonomy basically means you have the urge to direct your own lives. Micromanagement is not going to work with this group of people. They get restless. You have to give them some space and leeway to innovate, come up with ideas, and contribute, and get the ability to thrive. If you don't get them, they will not be loyal to you. You can't be garnering loyalty inclusiveness here. No way. Second thing is mastery. Give them progressive developmental opportunities. They will be there. It's a very selfish concept. You give something to me and I'll give my loyalty to you. Commitment has always been two-way. So we have to be very careful in terms of how we're developing the compensation mix. And thirdly is what we call as purpose. And you'll have to add some meaning to what they actually do. If you can do this, but this will only come and this will work when you're throwing the economic value out of the table. They have no issues with money. Once that is done, I think we can increase the longevity. You'll have to add some fun-filled environment for this group of people, taking into consideration the economic and the electronic literacy. Very quickly, I'll pick up on only one, and that is the role, the positioning of HR. I think it's high time, and I'm so glad that I hear from some of the HR practitioners here, it's high time that we stop seeing HR as a mere exclusively departmental function. There is a huge leap. I think the turnout tells you that there is a lot of changes, positive changes that have come up. It has taken a strategic positioning for sure. No doubt about that. So 4 roles comes up very prominently here. First, you will be looked upon as a strategic partner. A person or a department that is actually involved in the creation of wealth by and with people. And HRM department can really get that credibility if you can really work as a strategic partner. Business engagement partners. This is a huge leap. What a welcoming change. What a welcoming change. Although it's coming up slowly, but it has reached what it deserves. The second thing I told you, you will be looked upon as a capability builder. Competency development will be your job. And you are the ones who are going to prepare what I call as competent individuals. These are the people who are going to really run the race. The third one, which I want to emphasize a bit, which sometimes we neglect, is that you have to establish and revisit your credibility as a center of expertise, functional expertise. I still see, and during my consultancies, I do see that the line managers are still reluctant to buy your services because they doubt the legitimacy and the credibility of your expertise. So it also calls that the human resource team and the human resource department as a whole will have to do some radical, aggressive exercise in how they will update themselves, how they are going to reskill themselves before they serve their services to others. And that's where the functional expertise will come into play. So I do see that we have to be trained ourselves, and we really have to do strong enough so that we can offer credible services to the recipient end. And not to forget, when we do this, I think we should not forget, we are also employee advocates. It's a very tricky job. You have to see the management from both the organizational, meaning the employer side, and the employee side, but ensuring that the psychological contract is balanced from both the perspectives. It's a very tricky game, you see. You have to keep both the parties happy. And that's why you have to be very, very strong in terms of how you administer that role. So these 4 roles will be very, very strong. And someone probably, Vedya, if I'm correct, if I get your name correct, he says you are also technology proponents, right? You also have to facilitate that because now the prognosis has been made that by 2030, about 75% of the workforce will be taken over by the so-called the Gen Z population and constituency. And this is an extremely competitive group. Lastly, I will not be talking on that when putting people first, but I think what a nice way to just to end the session. He made it extremely clear. He said, why do you always make it a departmental function? Is HR an exclusive responsibility of only the HR people? So I think it draws the analogy like every individual is a government. If every individual is a government, you don't criticize each other. You say you don't get hygiene here, it's untidy. So what is it? What is your role in it? So if every individual, every line manager thinks himself or herself to an HR, I think that is the tremendous, this advocacy you have to do really strong. This has to come out very strongly from the HR department. Yes, you have to act as, I would say, it's a big challenge, but this is possible. You have to act like a center of expertise. You are consulting firms within the organization. You are consulting firms within the organization, believe it. And you have to go and help the line managers to discharge their HR responsibilities. And that requires a tremendous level of effort, great resources, and great investment. Thank you, everyone. It was wonderful and fantastically you brought some very succinct points in a shorter period of time. Thank you very much. Thank you.